So here are your senior level 1 chords. First one we're going to look at will be E minor. So E minor, we start by taking our first finger, okay, and place it on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, round about the middle of the fret. We then take our middle finger, finger number 2, and place it underneath the first finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Okay, and this second finger, this is the one we're going to try and get as close to, as you can see, as close to the fret wire here as possible, close to that fret wire, not quite touching it, but as close as we possibly can. And the second finger is going to be on the 2nd fret, 5th string, just behind it. So that's your E minor chord. And I'm just bending these two fingers down to get them out of the way so you can clearly see what's happening. Okay, so from there, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to just try pushing down with our thumb at the back. There's your E minor chord. Okay, and we can check the chord by playing the strings individually. Okay, and if we get a strange sounding note, we get something like. Okay, it means we've got to examine that finger, okay, and look at how we're pushing down, making sure we're on the fingertips. Okay, so that's your E minor chord. Moving on, let's take a look at the A minor chord. So the A minor chord, we start by placing our first finger on the 1st fret 2nd string here, just behind the fret wire as you can see. Our second finger comes up to the 2nd fret 4th string around the middle of the fret, and our third finger goes underneath the second finger on the 2nd fret 3rd string. And the 3rd string is the one we're going to bring close to the fret wire as we can. So we're playing here on strings 4, 3, and 2. Okay, 4, 3, and 2. We're going to pick from the 5th string open. We don't want to hit the 6th string if we can avoid it, because the 5th string is the A note, the A string. Okay, so we're going to strum from the 5th string down. There's A minor, and again we can check the chord out by picking. Okay, the individual notes, and if we have to make any adjustments, again we're thinking fingertips and bringing the fingers down correctly, pushing against the fretboard. So now let's take a look at our C chord, and our C chord looks like this. The C chord is probably your first trickiest chord we're going to learn, okay? So it looks like this, so let's break it down. We start by putting our first finger here on the 2nd fret, number 2 string. Our second finger we bring over and place on the 2nd fret of number 4 string. Okay, and in both cases I'm trying to get these fingers as close to the fret wire as we can. And then we take our third finger over to the 5th string on the 3rd fret, and again all these fingers, you can see I'm trying to get them as close as possible to the fret wire. Okay, so there's your C chord. This might take a little while, okay, because this is your first probably tricky chord. Again, push down and strum, and we can practice by playing the individual notes and adjusting our fingering accordingly to try and get each note ringing out. Okay. If we want to build that more slowly, we can take it by our first finger here, okay, and we can strum the first 3 strings. Okay. We can then take our second finger, put it into position here on the 2nd fret 4th string, and strum the first 4 strings. That starts us to get the idea of coordinating these two fingers around the chord, and then finally we can take our third finger and work to get this guy here on the 3rd fret 5th string to build up. There's your C chord. So now let's take a look at our G major chord, the G chord, which looks like this. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen here. We're going to start by taking our third finger, our ring finger, placing it here on the 3rd fret number 1 string, which is there. We take our number 1 finger over to the 2nd fret on the 5th string, and then the number 2 finger comes way over to the 6th string and mirrors the first finger. Okay, so both these fingers are on the 3rd fret. This guy's on the 3rd fret 1st string, this guy's on the 3rd fret of the 6th string. Okay, again this one's another bit of a stretch, so you may want to build this one up as we did with the C chord. Maybe start with this guy, get familiar here, get on the fingertip, take number 1 finger in there and strum from the 5th string, get used to that, and then put the 2nd finger down, and again work through the chords, pick the notes individually, and make any adjustments with the fingers that you need to in terms of the fretting and being on the fingertips. So let's take a look at our D major chord, okay, which looks like this. Okay, so Here's how we're going to start. We're going to start by placing finger number 1, okay, on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, close to the fret wire. Finger number 2 goes underneath it on the 1st string, 2nd fret. Okay, let me sort of, there we can see the 2 together. Okay, again, trying to get close to the fret wire as we can. My 3rd finger then comes up and positions itself on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, again being close to the fret wire. Okay, so there's my D major chord. Now when I strum this chord, what we're trying to do is strum only from the 4th string down. So we're trying to strum 4, 3, 2, 1 strings. Okay, we're trying not to strum string 6 or string 5. Okay, so we're going to try and strum from the 4th string down. That's your D major chord. And again, as you're working with this, pick each note individually, each string, and work through things like work through the strange sounding notes, thinking about being on the fingertip, curling the fingers around the fretboard, and having the thumb at the back of the neck to help you push down on the strings. That's your D major chord.